As Reverend Gary lights the chalice, the symbol of our faith, I invite you to stand and speak aloud your affirmation, keeping muted if you're online. The words are printed in the chat line or on your order of service. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve human need. For these high purposes do we unite in worship. It's so good to hear all of you. I can't say how much. Now let's take a moment to say hello to everyone and greet those next to you.
They're the ultimate questions. Who am I? Where do I come from? Where am I going? What is this all about? Is there some purpose? Is there some reason for us being here? Is there some destiny, some great task that we're intended to fulfill? And I say the answers all depend. If you are a cloud, for instance, it's all about gathering moisture from the air and raining it down to nourish the plants, which in turn release water vapor back into the sky. 1 minute the cloud looks like a turtle, the next it looks like a camel. But the cloud is not sorry, it's serene. The cloud is transitory, it's almost formless. It lets go in order to let be. If you are a leaf, on the other hand, it's all about absorbing sunlight and taking those wavelengths and turning them into sugars for energy, to produce seeds, to make trees, to sustain a forest. An apple tree can have 100,000 leaves. An elm can produce 1,000,000. Each one, each leaf is a verdant solar panel. Each one is a marvel of engineering, but it's just a small part of the whole. So, who are you? What's your purpose? The answer is that you are awesome. You are older. You are grander than you realize. Your particular life began billions of years ago when, inexplicably, things started. Some call this the Great Radiance. Some call it the Big Bang, but I prefer the Big Budding. The world leafed out, and you did too. Let me suggest that you did not just stumble into this scenario entirely by accident. Your being here is not some cosmic fluke or anomaly, nor were you put here by any otherworldly or supernatural forces. Rather, what happened is you grew, you developed, you sprouted rather organically and without artifice, like a melody develops from a single chord, like a diamond is formed over eons of perfect conditions of heat and pressure, like a rainbow where you can never see exactly where it begins and where it ends. You're here for reasons that stretch to forever and beyond. Years ago, the philosopher Alan Watts observed that we do not come into this world, rather we grow out of it. We grow out of it like leaves from a tree. As the ocean waves, the universe peoples. So every individual is an expression of the whole realm of nature. Every person is a unique action of the total universe. So celebrate yourself. Our task here, our purpose here, is to realize who we are. We're more than carbon-based egos struggling for survival and top billing on this astronomically insignificant bit of real estate. This is the worry, that human beings are just glorified feeding tubes, in one end and out the other. This is the definition of nihilism, that no one and nothing means anything, really. And yet I believe otherwise. I believe that we have a purpose here. We have a role to play. We do matter because we're meant for each other. And this is not a statement of faith. It's the plainest fact. Years ago, I visited a coming-of-age class where the teenagers were busy writing their credo statements. They were learning about the varieties of Unitarian Universalism, Christians, theists, humanists, the rest. It was dry stuff, truthfully. And yet, it was springtime, and as I looked out the window at the verdant profusion outside, it dawned on me. This was the Southland, so there were sweet gums and poplars and hickories, all transfused with that iridescent hue where the first little leaves are all golden, where they look like amber, and I could almost feel the sap rising up in me, and I realized, I am not a theist. I am not a humanist. I am not a rationalist. I am not a pagan. What I am is a leaf. I'm a leaf. I'm a leaf. I'm here just for a very short time on this planet. Arrived yesterday, gone tomorrow, enjoying my moment in the sun, but I'm here with a job to do. The health of the whole tree, from root to crown, depends on me. The flourishing of the entire forest and all the creatures who inhabit it, that depends on me and every other little leaf doing its part. So I have an important role to play. But you know what? It would be silly and self-centered for me to imagine that this miracle of spring that sweeps across the northern hemisphere every year occurs because of me, or that the twig and the limb and the branch and the trunk are all here for my benefit, or that all of that sunshine pours down just so that I can absorb its rays. Those countless leaves that fall to form the soil of the forest floor, that's my fate too. As a leaf, I'm just a very small part of a much bigger performance. And finding my own niche in this world means aligning my own life with that larger, more lasting life of which I'm just a fragmentary, momentary expression. That's how I see it. A leaf doesn't complain that one of its neighbors is a little bit higher in the canopy. Doesn't spend its time worrying after autumn comes, then what? It's not boastful or cynical or resentful. Rather, it cooperates. It gathers up and it gives away. It unfolds. It passes on its energy to another generation of leaves that comes after, and it's beautiful. It's always reaching toward the light. So what are you reaching for? A congregation is like a forest. Its life is the life that you give it, because ministers come and go. Beloved members drift away. But the flourishing of a community doesn't depend on any one individual. It's a network of mutual aid and care where everybody contributes. We all support each other. morally, practically, financially, beyond the resources that I need for my own personal maintenance and metabolism. Beyond that, we all have some surplus of time, of money, of energy that we devote to the common good. In ecology, this is called the net primary production. In churches, it's called stewardship. But in either case, it's a measure of the health and vitality of the whole system. It's that little bit extra, the little bit extra, maybe 10 or 12%, that we can afford to make available after our own needs have been satisfied, to circulate back into that greater whole that in turn keeps us growing and alive. It's a joint effort here. Recently, I learned that photosynthesis itself began about 2 billion years ago when blue-green algae and certain cyanobacteria combined forces to make a merged enterprise. The bacteria became chloroplasts, green dynamos living inside the cells of a larger organism to form a symbiotic community, because all of life is a community. Trees in a forest communicate with each other, we're learning. They share nutrients. They guard against common foes. They're not standalones or lonely sentinels, if we can believe the research. They're mother trees that share water and carbon and nitrogen along their roots and fungal networks with seedlings nearby, propagating and protecting the next generation. So what is it that we're propagating? What are we passing on? Henry Thoreau said that a man should compare favorably with a tree. But what a high standard. At some point in your spiritual development, in your maturation, you come to a realization that in answer to the question, what's it all about? The correct answer is, it's not all about me. So what I am, or what I want to be, is a leaf. The universe was certainly not designed to be here to care for and perpetuate me, but I may be here to protect and celebrate nature in all its glory. So love your neighbor, because your neighbor is your larger self. Love the beauty and intelligence that creation manifests. Support this faith community because it is an expression of who you are, your hopes, your convictions, your loyalties, your vision of an interdependent web, an interrelated humanity living together toward a sustainable and cooperative future. Which brings us back to the original questions. Who are you? What's your purpose here? What's your reason for being? Would you like a scientific answer, a no-nonsense answer? You're a repository for sunlight. You are not the sun, but you are a channel for all the brilliance and creativity that suffuses the world. You're here to gather it all in with gladness and then gift it back to the wider world with generosity. So go green, care for the environment because you are the environment. There is no point where you end and where the universe begins. Don't forget to breathe, to shine, to follow your own growing edges. Pledge to be part of something bigger. Be a leaf. Be a leaf.